you guys prefer digital or print?
I mean, I always go print, but there are some serious advantages to having digital. I love campaigns that offer both at a discounted price. Like, even if you get all of the above, audiobook, digital copy of it, and physical at a
Bro, I
discounted
just
price,
I just
I would always
deleted like every tab I had open. I don't know what I did. I
Control
made that
50.
I made that dumb
Put it back.
free kid joke. I
Go
know
to
shouldn't
your
have made
mic.
it, and then the internet's like, get rid of him.
You know you have the sound effect on your mic, right?
What?
I do, yeah.
So
What were you saying, Justin?
Oh, we were just talking about print versus digital, and I was saying that I like whenever you have the opportunity to get print and digital and the audiobook all in one at a discount. I like having the options. It's nice to have digital for convenience and for streams, so you can present the material on stream. Me and Kahuna have covered some comics in the past, and being able to
We'll
show
do
them
more of those in the future. We'll do more of those in the future too.
doing like, look on this page, there's a picture. See the hang on, where's the picture? Instead of doing that, where you can actually have the art on full display and you can move around. Digital is really handy in that sense, but physical, I don't know, there's something about an actual book in your hands that's nice, and you put it on your shelf and look at it.
Now,
Hey,
to be
that's a real
fair,
thing.
no one has ever said it better than Stan Lee. Comics are like boobs. You see them online, they're fine, but honestly, we all want to have you want to feel a comic in your hand. Real quote.
That's true. Yeah.
He was
So I'll say
incredibly
what
based.
what prompted this question though was actually it was Eric July, because the Rippaverse comics don't have a digital option, and that's him. You know, he believes, and
I never
don't know if he's
realized
right or
that till
not.
right now.
That is kind of odd in the modern day, actually.
Yeah. Huh.
it is. So he just,
Is
I
it
mean,
an
he believes,
anti-theft
and I'm not saying
measure?
he's
Is that
wrong.
the idea?
That's part of the. I think that's what he thinks it is. It's to prevent people from more easily downloading it right away.
So many assets on this comic. Love it.
Yeah.
So many
Uh,
assets.
But,
yeah, I mean, I can tell you, there's no point in worrying about pirating. It's going to happen regardless, because, like, think about it. If you have no digital version, somebody could easily just buy your book
Scan
and
it.
take high definition pictures of every page.
Yeah, but does it
if they hate you enough?
doesn't knock off a good percentage? It's just like the question just interests me because my instant thought is if people are going to pirate anyways, but the Rippaverse has seen a lot of success. At the same time, manga going more and more digital as the day goes on, right? But those are
especially
also,
if you can't always find physical versions of manga, especially translated.
Yeah.
It does make it easy. I have a lot of trouble with digital books as well. I have a whole bunch of books, even a lot of Iron Age books I got on digital, and I have a lot of, I haven't finished a single one yet. It's not for me, man. It's rough.
It's tough. One thing that's a big draw too is, I mean, especially if you got, tight budgets, digital's so much cheaper. I see some digital offerings. I mean, the books especially, 99-cent sales constantly.
Yeah.
And the comics, I saw one. I think the comic was $24 before shipping, and then the digital was $5. And it's like, man, that's a huge price difference. So it is really tempting. Huge, big price. I mean, it's massive. That's like a third the cost of, in some cases, maybe even more. And so the temptation to just go digital, I mean, it's there, and that's something
especially if you don't live in the same country as the person providing
that. And if you don't know the property, if you're just taking like on a whim, like a perfect example, I got a copy of Pistol Shrimp 1 and 2, and
Katie, calm down.
It's called Pistol Shrimp. How bad could it be? But I don't know the artist.
That sounds like a weird, Polynesian sex position. Pistol Shrimp.
That's not. Anyway. I thought it was a Western about a shrimp, but I guess we're just different wavelengths. But
anyway, you go on home there and you give her the good old Pistol Shrimp.
Those are both two different stories that exist on different pages on Fun My Comic.
I'm picturing that little mantis that has the little finger that
Yep.
It hits real hard. That's what I'm picturing. So yeah,
Yep,
I went digital in that case because I wasn't certain. Whereas there's certain properties that I'm like AC's book that's coming out. I'm like, I need that physical. I don't even know if there's a digital offering. I believe there is, right? Because you're covering all bases.
Yes, there's digital with an audio,
Yes.
everything. Yeah, and yeah, that's going to be a very colorful book. So I'm really excited to see that in full color.
Yeah,
We
see,
have all colors represented in this comic,
Yes,
I want that
all
in
of
my
them.
hands. I don't want a digital copy of
especially
that.
blacks. But not pointing out anyone in particular, but the color black is well represented in this comic.
and
Well,
green.
I guess a big thing though is like I don't want to pay all the money for necessarily on 20-page comics, right?
Right.
I like when a comic is big
Yeah.
chunker, like 70+ pages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
No, 'cause-
mind
and
a
that's what I
shorter
always-
comic, but the cost associated
Yeah.
is pretty rough.
We're backwards. We're reversed from movies
Exactly.
and comics. I like them thick. You like your movies long. I like short movies, and you like long movies. We're like
Yeah,
opposites with that.
that's dope.
Like if a
100%.
comic's like 300 pages, sure, give me
Bring it. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, bring it. Yeah.
That's why I hope a lot of the indie creators. I hope what they do is once they start to get to like 5 chapters, 10 chapters, or whatever, and then they can start selling like a heavy volume. Just at that point you're just pasting together the art, and you're kind of having a cooler option for people, right? I feel like you cast a wider net with that with people.
Something
Well,
that
yeah, for sure. Like Private American, this is the first issue number 1, and it's like what 40 to 70 pages. It's 72 or 73 page comic of actual
Yeah.
story. That's a like this is a thick comic book in the Iron Age indie
Right.
comic
Right.
space. And I think it does a lot for the pacing. I think it allows the artist to take their time and tell a more complete, less rushed kind of story.
I feel
which
like
I
there's
really
a
appreciate.
really good halfway step between these creations too. Instead of going full comic, be like, okay, I'm gonna do sort of like Anvil, where you have some storytelling and it's just written out like a book, but it's shorter, and then you have a page of artwork, and then you have some text, and then a page of artwork. So if you can't get to the
Yeah.
point where you have enough cash to fund an entire book, you can kind of show people what it would be like, and it's a midway point. It's sort of like people that want to go into animation. I was talking to Daniel P. Riley about this, and animation's incredibly expensive. And then I think of sort of like what Ruthless does, or the show Way of the House Husband, where it's not full animation. It's basically one artwork, and they have a little bit of movement here or there just to add some interest, or like one frame change. Simple stuff, and then it's just narrated over, and they have audio, and there's like these half measures that I guess the market must not be there for people to not be doing them. But in my head, and I'm thinking like that would be attainable for most people, and it's going to be more interesting than some of the alternatives.
You'd be selling a whole different. Yeah, you'd be selling like a whole different medium thing, and then it's like, well, the thing is like you'd have to call that something else, right? Like, so are you referring to, as one of your examples, kind of like one page of words with one image?
Yeah, something like that. So it's like a halfway.
That would be cool. That'd be great. That would be great happy medium. But you wouldn't call that a comic. You wouldn't call it a novel at that point. So it's like, how do you sell that to people, right? Because you'd have to come up with a whole different name, and then you'd have to sell that. Then you have to advertise that name out to people to get it into people's like lexicon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be a trailblazer. You could, forge your way to freedom.
I could see like one commission of art per chapter for like my full length. That'd be really cool. Like the art. Like think about it. The each art would be like the chapter. Like you have the chapter name, and it's like the chapter cover, right? This is the cover for the chapter. Yeah.
And there's two ways you can go about it. You could either have this like beautiful, amazing, super rich, detailed artwork, which that would probably get very expensive very fast. Or you could do like a comic panel where it's beautiful and it's well drawn and there's something to it, but it's not this, full scale book cover quality painting, so to speak. So it helps cut down on cost, but it gives people an idea of what is in your head. So you're not just having to imagine and hope that your imagination lines up with what you're reading and all that sort of stuff. And give it a name, sure.
Well, then you run into another issue though with that, because like
so many
costs,
issues.
right? Obviously. because when typically when people when they're writing a comic, they're writing that story kind of differently than they would write a novel, right?
100%.
Typically. So at that point, if you're writing a story to be a novel but with a piece of art in between each page, why spend the extra money for all that art? You know, like there wouldn't be enough incentive, I think.
I think
Well,
it's just. Oh,
It's
sorry, go
a
ahead.
bit of
True.
it's a bit of a stylistic choice, but I've noticed there has been an uptick in the trend of not just writing a novel, not just writing a comic, but the earlier iteration of both the pulps. Both of these I would consider more pulp than real novel. Like
Mhm.
like Long Moonlight by Razor Fist. It's not every page, it's not even every like 5 pages, but like
More like
there's
the
art
short Moonlight.
all throughout.
Mm.
Like sometimes at the beginning of chapters, sometimes in the middle for a character description. Otter does the. I think Otter did even better in his book. He has illustrations by 2 different people. Some of them are entire like full or 2-page scenes.
What's
Like,
going
let's
on in
see.
the chat?
The chat is unhinged. Don't read it, bro. It's insane.
Coon is just like,
But like he'll have this, and then he'll have like a small little character illustrations taking up like an eighth of the page. I think there is an in between because both of these books are very small, very short word count, very digestible. The art adds a little bit of personal flavor, a touch of that artistic element we like in comics. Pulps may be I think we need to see more of them. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
So let me summarize
AC,
this
put
chat
on
right
the
now. if I
everlast
can
chastity
kinda
belt.
I know. We were just
If I
talking
can
about
use this
Robin Hood.
correctly.
Too.
Is King Bob trying to go trans now so he can be a sea wife?
He's gonna be a sea wife.
that
Yeah,
what I
it'll be
got?
one.
Is King Bob going to be the cross-dressing mascot of this channel?
It'll be a sea wife. Every good
He's
Navy vessel needs a sea wife.
He's going to be like the old Greg of the Iron Seas podcast.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look, there's more. Like,
you ever drink whiskey?
there's
out
more
of an
than
elk
just
shoe?
watchers. Yeah, I was gonna say there's more than just watching our show. There's also the chat. It's just a whole
yeah,
different
dude.
level.
That was
It's-
whenever I first started into these things, even still up until recently, I would come for the chat. I'd hang out for the
Yeah.
show, but it was more of a spot to like hang out. And yeah, you can interact from time to time if you feel like if they're talking about something that catches your interest, but it's inevitable that every single stream you watch is going to have a portion of the show that they're talking about something you either don't know about, don't care about, or what have you. And if you
Or
have the
frankly,
chat,
the chat is just more
in there.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I've
that
noticed
too.
not all chats are very good. I've seen chats where they were
This is
kind
true.
of just like boring. I'm like,
yeah,
say something
very
spicy.
true.
I don't know, cause like call me a slur. I don't know. Do something not
Dude,
boring.
or
Mix
chats
it
where
up. Yeah.
the people in there don't talk to each other, especially the smaller ones.
Yeah.
That's that one's a little bit weird, but yeah, whenever the people are having fun, that's good stuff, man.
That's
I'm
what
all
it's
about
there
that.
for. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I even like the bigger channels that are like doing all night long live streams and stuff. You know, they
Oh,
just
those
have like
people are insane, dude.
it's crazy. But you go into like some of those and it's very clearly just like a 24-hour video that they just have on a loop, and they have all these bots that like kind of, oh, this person subscribed, this person's following, you know what I mean? But like even then you can still have good conversations with people in those chats, like some that you wouldn't suspect, because think about it, it's a big enough channel that there's a lot of people, but at the same time it's going for so long that there's not like everybody at once, so it's like a normal amount of traffic.
I
Did
agree.
Justin die?
No, he said
No,
he
he's
would go
just-
real quick.
He's gonna take a poop.
He's
Yeah, he was reading the chat. He's like, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
talk to my wife."
yeah.
Well, I want to say this with him. He mentioned like comics having like an audio or like emotion. I think something he mentioned happening along with that.
Oh yeah, he's
Or
talking about
digital.
kind of well, like more like motion comics is what he's talking
So
about.
yeah, have you ever seen motion comics? Actually, they exist.
Yeah, they do. I've
Yeah,
seen.
they're just really.
Yeah.
There's like an app for it. I remember the Overwatch comics were done like that, and it
Yeah.
definitely was more enjoyable. But I'm like, how much more work did they have to put in for that to like not get people to
Sometimes
view
not
it?
a
you know?
lot. Like, yeah, some of them not a lot. You don't even because you don't need that much movement. Sometimes they don't even usually animate the motion of like the mouths opening and closing during dialogue. They'll just have the characters like floating a little bit and like getting closer and further apart, or like particle effects in the background. Just BS really.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just again, I think it's another thing where it's just like how many people know what a motion comic is? How do you get that sold out to people? Yeah.
Well, we're seeing a return to old ideas and the expression of new ideas. Now, like everybody, like we were talking about the length of a comic earlier. I don't mind a short comic. I prefer a longer comic. But when you have enough comic, like when you have enough to make a collection, like a collected edition, freaking do it! Look at this thing, hardcover. Look how thick this boy is.
Sick.
I love when a book is like this.
Is that a comic?
It's Bande Dessinée. It's Bouncer. It's about a one-armed bouncer at an old Western saloon, and it's basically like the harshest Western comic I've ever read.
What is
and it's all French, so the art is really, really expressive and interesting, and they're not afraid to make Indians bad people. Sometimes it's good.
What does Bande Dessinée mean?
Bande Dessinée. It's French.
Bande Dessinée. Yeah, what does it mean?
Bande Dessinée.
Bande Dessinée.
Bande Dessinée. We bombed Disney, yo. Anyway.
Bondi's nuts. What?
God.
Wow. Yeah.
So what does it mean? What does it mean?
Do you know?
My wife finally joined the chat.
Mon.
She finally showed up.
Yeah. She hasn't been very aggressively flirting with you for the last half hour.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, Justin, what do you call a comic in Kenya?
Is this a joke or a fact? Chat, is this a joke or a fact?
I'm gonna go with fact. Answer.
Fact.
Oh,
can you get off these nuts? Anyway, sorry. Let's go.
Boom!
You just watched a clip from the Iron Seas podcast. Make sure to like this, subscribe, it helps us out a little bit, and please catch the show live at 9:30 Eastern every Tuesday.